I'm Jake, you're watching Gas Guzzlers, and this is the completely redesigned 2024 Chevy Traverse. And today we're asking, should competitors like the Ford Explorer be worried? I think they should be, and today I'll show you why. Let's get into it. But before we get things started, a huge shout out to Moose here at Kuhn Chevy Buick GMC of Clarksville here in Clarksville, Maryland. Be sure to check their website out in the description below and make sure to follow Moose on TikTok at The Car Cowboy. All right, let's get back into the video. Let's talk about the exterior of the new Traverse, starting with the front end here. Now the Z71 is gonna get a unique fascia. What's the Z71? That's the off-road focused trim. And you're saying, oh Jake, that's just an appearance package. Wait. There are some real off-road chops here. First of all, we get an extra inch of ground clearance. So we're going from 6.8 inches on other Traverse models to 7.8 inches of ground clearance here. We also have this unique fascia, which not only looks sporty and aggressive, but you're gonna get these red tow hooks and you're gonna get a sharper approach angle. You're gonna get a 15-degree approach angle, which look, that's not anything that's, you know, competing with the Ford Raptor, right? But it's certainly going to handle pretty much any reasonable campsite or dirt trail or anything like that. We have LED lighting standard on Traverse, and we have automatic high beams as standard equipment as well. And if you drop it real low, you'll see that we even get some aluminum skid plates. The off-road features don't stop at the front of the Traverse. Underneath, we will find a unique to the Z71 twin clutch all-wheel drive system. That's going to enable the Traverse to send power effectively to one of the wheels with the most grip. The Z71 is also going to get a unique damper system, and we have these 18-inch wheels. Slight disappointment here at the side is going to be that these mirrors are manual folding. This is a $50,000 SUV, and on a vehicle of this size, it's really nice to have that automatic folding so that when you're in the parking lot, you don't have to worry about hitting your mirrors on anything. I would like to see automatic folding mirrors here. One thing that pleasantly surprised me was that we have keyless entry on all four doors. It's very common to see the keyless entry function only on the front handles, but on the Traverse, all four door handles are going to get it so that your kids or whoever's sitting in the back can make use of that keyless entry function. I also think this is just a great looking vehicle. Let me know, do you like this or the Ford Explorer more in the comments below? I normally hate the floating window, but I think General Motors really pulled it off here. Whether you prefer gas or electric, or you're like me and love both, you should make sure that you're subscribed to Gas Guzzlers for more weekly automotive content. Make sure to like, subscribe. Now let's get back into it. At the rear of the Traverse, we're gonna find a 5,000-pound towing capacity. That's thanks to that impressive new engine up front, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Getting inside the rear hatch of the Traverse can be done in a few ways. You can press a button on your key fob, you can press a button on the trunk. Well-equipped models are going to come with a hands-free activation system. Now in most vehicles, a hands-free liftgate is operated with your foot. You know, you have to kick underneath and a radar picks up your foot and the vehicle opens the trunk. That's not how it works here in the Traverse. Instead here, you just walk to the back of the car with the key fob in your pocket, stand by the trunk for 3 seconds, and then it's going to detect you back here and automatically open the trunk. Also, check out these rear lights. Don't those look wild? I really like how they look. Let's open up the trunk here where we're gonna find 23 cubic feet of space. If we put down all the seats here, we're gonna have 98 cubic feet of space, and that's done just with the manual tab right here. So I just finished up showing you some of the features at the rear of the Traverse. That's all very interesting, but I want to show you this engine. And that means I have to back the Traverse up into its parking spot just so I'm not taking up more space here at the dealer than I need to. Now, that caused an interesting conundrum for me because I turn the Traverse on and I start trying to go into drive and it just will not shift. I'm like, huh, can I go into reverse? Nope, completely locked out. That's because you need to have your seatbelt in to get into drive. Now, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I know this is going to be controversial because a lot of people don't like their car telling them what to do. They're going to say, oh, what if this breaks and I can't get my car into drive because the seatbelt sensor broke? That's a legitimate worry. However, consider that about half of crash-related deaths involve not wearing a seatbelt. So this really probably is one of the best safety features that a car could have. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And here is that little engine I was talking about. And I say little because, well, it's a 4-cylinder, a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine in a 3-row SUV. Well, consider this, it makes 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque. So you're beating the Ford Explorer equivalent engine by about 10% power-wise. That's nothing to scoff at. Now, it gets slightly worse fuel economy. This is an all-wheel drive model, so keep that in mind, but it gets about 19 miles to the gallon in the city and about 24 miles to the gallon on the highway. I'm still very impressed by this little engine and some of the little zipping around I've done here at the dealership. Keep tuned for a full review of the Traverse where we will get one out on the road and see how this performs. Let's jump in the interior of the all-new 2024 Chevy Traverse. Now, what impressed me the most about this redesign was this, the interior. First of all, you just notice how much space there is in here. The Traverse is just a big vehicle, but Chevy has also done some things to kind of open it up a little bit more. For example, they moved to a column-mounted shifter that frees up space in the middle here. There are also just large windows throughout the Traverse, and it just feels very airy in here. We also have this optional large panoramic sunroof, which just lets in more light and makes it feel even bigger in here. Speaking of big, how about this 17.7-inch touchscreen? It is absolutely massive, and it has Apple CarPlay in it, wireless Apple CarPlay, which is interesting because a while ago GM indicated that they wanted to get rid of CarPlay. That's for data reasons, right? If you're using Apple CarPlay, GM can't collect your data and monetize that. So it makes sense from a business standpoint as to why they'd want to move away there, but I assume customer demand just meant that they needed CarPlay, because for most car buyers, CarPlay now is an essential feature. Also, check out this red trim. At first, I did not think I was going to like this, but it's a real interesting pattern, and it has a little bit of black mixed in there to make it a little more mature. Overall, I think this interior is really impressive, especially given the upped build quality. This feels better put together than most GM vehicles I've been in the past. There's still a bit of tackiness to some of the materials, especially the steering wheel here I think could use a better feeling leather, but this is not the GM of old. Definitely a step up of interior quality and usability here. The rear seating area doesn't leave me as in awe as the front area does, but it's still nothing to scoff at. You can get up to 8 seats in the Traverse. Here on this Z7-1, we have captain's chairs, so we only fit 7. We have our own little climate controls right here. We also have 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port. There are 6 USB ports throughout the vehicle in total. You can get heated outboard seats, and again, just that spaciousness carries on back here. You can easily fit very tall adults here in the second row of the Traverse. The Traverse does have a third row. To get into the third row, you just pull on the shoulder and the whole seat slides forward. It's very easy and dignified to get here into the Traverse. Now, if I pull this seat back, I'm going to have limited legroom. It's a fact of life. However, I think you can fit 2 6-foot-tall adults in the very rear row of the Traverse. And that's because of this flat roof line. Your head isn't hitting the roof. There's plenty of room for your head. Sure, your legs are a little squished, but it feels roomy enough. And you have some cup holders back here. So I think that in a pinch, you could do a road trip with 6 6-foot-tall adults in the Traverse, and I'm not sure I would say that about the Explorer, which has a bit more of a sloped roof line. Let's check out this 17.7-inch infotainment display. It is mighty impressive. Check out the size. Not only that, it's not square. It's got like a little rounded edge here, which definitely adds some visual interest. Let's start by talking about the camera system. As you can see, we have very crisp cameras here. I like this side view because it lets you make sure that you aren't curving your wheels. But we also have a standard camera, front and also rear. And we also have an overhead view. And if you're hook up a trailer, you can zoom in there with your hitch view, which is very dandy. Let's check out the vehicle status. You can see that you can bring up all of these gauges, which is kind of fun. It looks neat to show off to your friends, or for the mechanically inclined of you, you may appreciate that information. This maintenance page right here just lets you basically check the tire pressure. I think that's what most of you are going to do with it, but it also shows battery voltage and engine air life. So that's very useful. Let's check down below, because you can see there are climate controls right here on the screen, but there are also physical climate controls down here. A lot of people don't like having climate controls in the screen, so Chevy gives you a redundancy. You'll also see my phone is on the wireless charging pad right there. I have found the wireless charging pad here works very well. My phone almost always lands right on the charger, which is very useful for when you're using the wireless Apple CarPlay. As you can see, it fills the whole screen just like that, and you can use your widescreen Apple CarPlay. Huge fan of this screen. The heated steering wheel is a nice feature, but let's check out that big display back here. Here is your digital gauge cluster. Really not too much going on here. You can easily get to your favorite radio stations on here, but other than that, it's not too customizable or anything like that. It does the job perfectly well. It's actually very sharp. This might be the sharpest display I've ever seen used in a digital gauge cluster. Let's talk active safety features. Now, all Traverses will come standard with auto emergency braking, forward collision assist, and lane departure warning and lane keep assist. Now, to get other features like adaptive cruise control, a 360 camera, or traffic sign recognition or blind spot monitoring, you're gonna have to move up the trims and get the right packages. Now, this Z7-1 right here is gonna have features like that blind spot monitoring. Just make sure that you're getting the Traverse that comes with the right selection of driver assistance features that you desire. So should Ford be worried? I think so. The Ford Explorer has long outsold the Traverse, but I think that could eventually change. This Traverse is very good, right? It has features like that gigantic touchscreen. It's got a pretty innovative engine in it, but what impresses me the most is just that room inside of it. I mean, this feels like a body-on-frame vehicle inside, but it's actually unibody, right? And that comes with the gas mileage benefits and such of a unibody vehicle, and the price benefits compared to a full-size body-on-frame vehicle. It just feels so much larger in there than the Traverse's competitors. So if you're looking for a three-row SUV, definitely check out the all-new Chevy Traverse. I think this is a really exciting era for GM. If you want to see more Chevy reviews, be sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out Koon's Chevy Buick GMC here in Clarksville, and definitely check out Moose at the Car Cowboy on TikTok. I'm Jake, you're watching Gas Guzzlers. This is the 2024 Chevy Traverse. We will see you in next week's video. Take care, everybody.